In the tranquil village of Hanamura, nestled in the shadow of Mount Kuro, a sinister presence had begun to cast a pall over the idyllic community. For generations, Hanamura had been a place of peace and prosperity, its fields lush and its people content. But recently, an unexplainable blight had settled upon the land. Crops that had once thrived now withered overnight, and livestock disappeared without a trace, their eerie absence leaving the villagers in a state of growing panic. Rumors spread quickly among the frightened villagers, whispers of a demon, Oniro, emerging from the ancient legends to wreak havoc. The elders, wise and steeped in the lore of the past, recognized the signs and confirmed the villagers' worst fears. Oniro, a fearsome demon of immense power, had indeed been summoned from the depths of the underworld. Desperate to save their home, the villagers decided to seek out a warrior capable of facing such a formidable foe. Their hopes lay in a single man, Hiroshi, a legendary samurai whose name was spoken with reverence across the land. Once a loyal retainer to a powerful daimyo, Hiroshi had wandered the land as a ronin since the death of his lord in a great battle. His journey had taken him through countless trials, honing his skills and deepening his understanding of the warrior's path. News of Hanamura's plight reached Hiroshi in a distant town, and he resolved to come to their aid. When Hiroshi arrived in Hanamura, he was met with a mixture of awe and desperation. The villagers, their faces etched with worry, gathered around him, pleading for his help. Among them was the village elder, a frail but determined woman named Yumi. She stepped forward, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and hope. "Honored samurai," Yumi began, "our village is beset by a great evil. Oniro, the demon of legend, has returned to torment us. We beg you to save us from this nightmare." Hiroshi listened intently, his expression solemn. He could see the fear in their eyes, feel the weight of their desperation. "I will do everything in my power to defeat this demon," he assured them, his voice calm and resolute. That night, Hiroshi visited the village shrine, a small but sacred place dedicated to the spirits of the mountain. He knelt before the altar, lighting incense and offering prayers to the gods. As he meditated, he sought guidance and strength, opening his mind to the whispers of the spirits. The hours passed slowly, the silence of the shrine broken only by the soft rustle of the wind. As dawn approached, Hiroshi felt a profound sense of peace settle over him. He rose from his meditation, feeling a renewed sense of purpose and resolve. The spirits had heard his prayers, and he knew he was ready to face the demon. With the first light of morning, Hiroshi prepared for his journey to Mount Kuro. The villagers gathered to see him off, their faces a mixture of hope and anxiety. Yumi approached him once more, offering a simple amulet as a token of their gratitude and a symbol of their faith in him. "May the spirits protect you, Hiroshi-san," she said, her voice filled with quiet determination. Hiroshi accepted the amulet with a nod, tucking it into his belt. "I will return," he promised, "and I will bring peace back to Hanamura." With that, Hiroshi set off towards Mount Kuro, the weight of the villagers' hopes resting on his shoulders. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but his heart was steeled by the knowledge that he was not just fighting for himself, but for the lives and futures of the people of Hanamura. As he walked, he could feel the eyes of the spirits upon him, guiding his steps towards his destiny. The journey to Mount Kuro was arduous, with a path that wound through dense forests and over rugged terrain. The morning sun cast long shadows through the trees, and the air was filled with the sounds of birds and rustling leaves. Hiroshi moved with the silent grace of a seasoned warrior, his senses attuned to the environment around him. As he climbed higher, the atmosphere began to change. The air grew cooler, and an unsettling quiet fell over the forest. The birds' songs faded, replaced by an eerie silence. Hiroshi's sharp eyes caught glimpses of strange phenomena. Trees twisted into unnatural shapes, their bark scorched and blackened, rocks bearing deep claw marks, as if something massive and powerful had passed through. Hiroshi paused to examine these signs, his mind recalling the teachings of his old master, Cade. Master Cade had been a strict but wise mentor, instilling in Hiroshi the importance of patience and observation. "The environment speaks to those who listen," Cade had often said. Hiroshi took these words to heart, using the clues around him to gauge the nature of the threat he faced. As he ventured further, Hiroshi encountered more signs of Oniro's malevolence. The forest grew darker, the trees gnarled and lifeless. Strange, haunting cries echoed through the mist, sending chills down his spine. He knew he was drawing closer to the demon's lair. Hours of cautious travel brought Hiroshi to a clearing where an ancient torii gate stood sentinel, marking the entrance to a dark cavern. The gate was weathered but still imposing, its wooden beams inscribed with protective symbols that had faded with time. Hiroshi felt a cold breeze emanate from the cavern, carrying with it the stench of decay. He stepped through the gate, feeling a subtle shift in the air as he crossed the threshold. The cavern ahead was a yawning maw of darkness, its depths obscured by an unnatural fog. Hiroshi took a deep breath, steadying himself. He offered a silent prayer to the spirits of the mountain, seeking their protection and guidance. Drawing his katana, Hiroshi entered the cavern. The walls were slick with moisture, and the air was thick with a palpable sense of dread. Each step echoed ominously, the sound amplified by the cavern's vastness. His senses heightened. Hiroshi navigated the labyrinthine passages with the precision of a hunter. As he delved deeper, the temperature dropped further, and the light grew dimmer. Strange, bioluminescent fungi clung to the walls, casting an eerie glow that barely penetrated the gloom. Hiroshi's breath misted in the frigid air, and he tightened his grip on his sword. Suddenly, a faint noise caught his attention, a soft, rhythmic chanting barely audible over the silence. Following the sound, Hiroshi moved cautiously, every sense alert. The chanting grew louder as he approached a large chamber, the source of the ghostly blue light he had seen from outside. Hiroshi paused at the entrance of the chamber, taking in the sight before him. The room was vast, with a high ceiling that seemed to disappear into darkness. At its center stood Oniro, the demon whose presence had haunted Hanamura. The demon was even more fearsome up close, its body a mass of sinewy muscle and gleaming scales. Crimson eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and its claws dripped with dark energy. "Oniro!" Hiroshi called out, his voice echoing through the chamber. "I have come to end your terror." The demon turned its gaze upon Hiroshi, its eyes narrowing with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. "Ah, a samurai," Oniro hissed, its voice a low, rumbling growl. "Do you think you can defeat me, human?" Hiroshi raised his katana, the blade catching the ghostly light. "I am Hiroshi, and I will put an end to your darkness." The demon laughed, a sound that reverberated through the cavern like thunder. "We shall see," it said, a sinister smile curling its lips. With that, Oniro lunged at Hiroshi, and the battle began. The cavern's vast chamber became a battlefield as Hiroshi and Oniro clashed. The demon's massive form moved with surprising speed, and its initial attack was a blur of claws and teeth. Hiroshi dodged to the side, his katana flashing as he deflected a strike aimed at his head. The force of the blow sent vibrations up his arms, but Hiroshi held firm, his resolve unshaken. Oniro's eyes glowed with malice as it circled Hiroshi, searching for an opening. "You are brave, samurai, but bravery alone will not save you," the demon taunted, its voice dripping with contempt. Hiroshi remained silent, his focus unwavering. He recalled the lessons of Master Kaidi, who had always emphasized the importance of observing an opponent's patterns and weaknesses. Hiroshi's eyes tracked every movement of Oniro, noting the slight delay between its attacks and the momentary hesitation before it lunged. With a sudden burst of speed, Oniro charged again, its claws slashing through the air. Hiroshi met the assault head-on, his katana moving with fluid grace as he parried and countered. Sparks flew as steel met demonic claw, and the cavern echoed with the sounds of their fierce combat. Hiroshi's strategy was one of patience and precision. He aimed for the joints in Oniro's armor-like scales, where the demon's defenses were weakest. Each strike was carefully calculated, designed to wear down the creature bit by bit. Oniro, in contrast, fought with raw power and fury, its attacks relentless and forceful. Despite the demon's ferocity, Hiroshi's discipline and skill began to turn the tide. He delivered a swift slash to Oniro's side, drawing a hiss of pain and a spurt of dark, viscous blood. Enraged, The demon unleashed a powerful swipe that Hiroshi barely avoided, the force of the blow shattering the stone floor where he had stood moments before. Hiroshi's breathing was steady, his movements fluid. He could feel the rhythm of the battle, the ebb and flow of energy between him and Oniro. As the fight progressed, he began to anticipate the demon's moves with greater accuracy, his strikes becoming more effective. The chamber itself seemed to react to their struggle. The eerie blue light flickered and pulsed, casting long shadows that danced on the walls. The ground trembled under the force of their blows, and the air was thick with tension. In a particularly fierce exchange, Oniro unleashed a wave of dark energy, forcing Hiroshi to leap back. The energy crackled through the air, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Hiroshi landed gracefully, his eyes narrowing as he studied the demon. He knew he had to end the fight quickly. The longer it dragged on, the greater the risk. Summoning all his strength, Hiroshi channeled his focus into a single, decisive maneuver. He waited for the right moment, watching as Oniro prepared for another attack. As the demon lunged, Hiroshi moved with lightning speed, sidestepping the blow and delivering a powerful slash to Oniro's exposed neck. The katana sliced through scales and flesh, and Oniro roared in agony. The demon staggered, clutching at its wound. Hiroshi pressed his advantage, launching a series of swift, precise strikes that targeted the demon's vital points. Each blow weakened Oniro further, its movements growing sluggish and desperate. Finally, with a cry that echoed through the cavern, Hiroshi delivered the finishing blow. His katana pierced Oniro's heart, the blade glowing with a brilliant light as it drove deep into the demon's chest. Oniro's eyes widened in shock and pain, its body convulsing as the light spread, consuming the darkness within. Oniro let out a final guttural scream before its body disintegrated into a cloud of ash. The dark energy that had permeated the chamber dissipated, leaving behind a serene silence. Hiroshi stood amidst the remnants of his foe, breathing heavily but victorious. The battle was over, but the memory of it lingered in the air, a testament to the fierce struggle that had taken place. Hiroshi sheathed his katana and took a moment to gather his thoughts. He offered a silent prayer of thanks to the spirits and to Master Kadi, whose teachings had guided him through the ordeal. With the demon defeated, Hiroshi began his journey back to Hanamura. The path seemed less foreboding now, the oppressive darkness lifting with each step he took. As he descended Mount Kuro, the first rays of dawn broke through the clouds, casting the world in a warm, golden light. Hiroshi's heart was light, knowing that he had fulfilled his promise to the villagers. But he also knew that his journey was far from over. There were many more battles to fight, many more people to protect. With the lessons of the past and the hope of the future guiding him, Hiroshi walked on, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The return journey to Hanamura was marked by a sense of relief and accomplishment. But Hiroshi knew his task was far from complete. He had defeated Oniro, but the demon's lingering influence still hung over the village. As he descended the mountain, he remained vigilant, knowing that the true test of his strength and spirit awaited him. When Hiroshi arrived at the edge of the village, he found the villagers gathered, their faces filled with a mixture of hope and fear. The sight of him, bloodied but resolute, drew a collective gasp. The elder Yumi stepped forward, her eyes wide with anticipation. "Hiroshi-san," she said, her voice trembling, "is it done? Is the demon truly vanquished?" Hiroshi nodded solemnly. "Oniro is defeated, but its presence lingers. We must perform a ritual to cleanse the village and ensure the demon spirit cannot return." Yumi nodded, her face hardening with determination. "We will do whatever it takes. Tell us what we must do." Hiroshi spent the next few hours instructing the villagers on the preparations for the ritual. They gathered sacred herbs, crafted talismans, and prepared the village shrine for the ceremony. As night fell, the villagers assembled at the shrine, their faces lit by the flickering glow of lanterns. Hiroshi stood at the center of the shrine, his katana by his side. He began the ritual with a series of chants, calling upon the spirits of the mountain and the ancestors of Hanamura. The villagers joined in, their voices rising in unison, creating a harmonious chorus that resonated through the village. As the ritual reached its climax, Hiroshi raised his katana, its blade glowing with a pure, ethereal light. He plunged the sword into the ground, releasing a surge of spiritual energy that radiated outward. The light spread, enveloping the village and driving out the lingering darkness left by Oniro. The villagers watched in awe as the light washed over them, purifying the land and restoring its natural balance. Flowers bloomed, crops regained their vitality, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The demon's curse was broken, and Hanamura was free. The villagers erupted in joyous celebration, their gratitude toward Hiroshi boundless. Yumi approached him, tears of relief streaming down her face. "You have saved us, Hiroshi-san. We are forever in your debt." Hiroshi bowed his head humbly. "It was my honor to help. Remember, true strength lies within each of you. Protect your village and cherish the peace you have fought so hard to regain." In the days that followed, Hiroshi remained in Hanamura, helping the villagers rebuild and offering guidance. His presence brought a sense of security and hope, and he shared stories of his travels, inspiring the villagers with tales of bravery and wisdom. One evening, as the sun set over the village, casting a warm, golden glow, Hiroshi sat with Yumi and a few of the village elders. They discussed the future of Hanamura and the importance of vigilance and unity. "Hiroshi-san," Yumi said, "we would be honored if you would stay with us to help guide and protect our village." Hiroshi smiled gently. "My path is one of constant movement, aiding those in need wherever I may find them. But I will always carry Hanamura in my heart, and I will return whenever I am needed." The elders nodded in understanding, their respect for Hiroshi deepened. They knew his journey was far from over, and his purpose extended beyond their village. As a token of their gratitude, they presented Hiroshi with a beautifully crafted sheath for his katana, adorned with symbols of protection and prosperity. With his heart full, Hiroshi bid farewell to the villagers. He set off once more, his spirit guided by the lessons of the past and the promise of the future. His legend spread far and wide, inspiring others to stand against darkness with courage and honor. Hiroshi's journey continued, and with each step, he carried the strength and hope of Hanamura with him, ever ready to face the challenges ahead. And so, the tale of the samurai who fought the demon and restored peace to a village became a timeless story, a testament to the enduring power of bravery, resilience, and the human spirit.